What's going on, guys? Bladezilla here, and today I got a pretty cool production piece for you. This guy is from the Eagle Expo in Russia, one of an estimated 33 in this colorway. Full disclosure, they made 100 pieces of this type of knife in 3 different colors, so I'm assuming it's 30, 33, or maybe it's split 30, 30, 40 in a couple different colors, or who knows what. But it is a 3 Bears Quantum, and very, very rare, especially in North America. Don't see these very often. I brought this one in under the assumption that I was going to throw it on the site and get this one into the hands of hopefully an enthusiast. So we are going to take a look at this knife today. As a quick reminder, guys, check out my website, bladezilla.ca, which is bloop, right there. A lot of the knives featured on this channel are available for purchase, and I just added up, actually tonight, when I'm filming this, Molten Overkill, and a couple other pre-owned beauties. So this is going to go in the pre-owned section, which I just added. There's been a lot of questions about adding some rare pieces to the site, and I figure, hey, let's start throwing a couple cool ones on there as long as they're mint. And I guess my problem is that it takes a lot of effort to photograph each individual pre-owned knife so that the buyer gets the perfect description, and you know, the expectation is filled when they open their new knife. So it's more work to sell one knife versus 5, but it is what it is. So anyway, now that bladezilla.ca is behind us with all the shout outs, I guess we can go on and let's talk about this knife. So where to start? It's a Quantum. It is a 3 Bears Quantum, which is not common, with an inlay on it. So let's get some measurements. I've got the box here, I've got some COAs to show, I've got a little bit of everything tonight, which is really exciting. I am filming this pretty late, so that's why hopefully the lighting's okay, but if it isn't, it is what it is. 8 3/4 overall length, OAL. Blade is 4-inch, just past the choil there, so it's a nice long knife. Handle, I guess to the edge we're at, what, 4 3/4, somewhere in there. It's a full-size Shirogorov, and this should be no surprise. In terms of other Quantums in this same kind of lineup, well, we've got not a whole lot of Quantums actually on hand right now. I guess we could do the custom division or sprint run that I always show on the channel, which is cool. We've got our Monkey Edge Quantum, frag pattern, single row bearing Quantum, and I've got my E-Knives Quantum here as well. That guy, I don't know if they've coined the term the Hex, H-E-K. I don't know if they've done that yet or not. That was my initial reaction of what they should have done. So anyway, as I was kind of getting out there, sorry my phone just rang, but the Hex, H-E-K, I don't know if they're still calling it that or not, or if they ever called it that, but the Hex EK Knives Quantum. Cool knife. Another fancy one that doesn't get a whole lot of love, but I think it should. And then obviously the Monkey Edge frag, love it. This is my, sadly, one of the first Shiros I ever got, and just an absolute beauty of a knife. But what are we here to see? We're here to see this guy. So I'm not going to go too crazy into detail on the other knives, but there's a lot of really awesome things that this particular knife, the NL, has on it that a lot of the other production knives don't, at the price point that it's available at and in the limited quantity that they're available in. And to give you an example, a sprint run like this, this is available, there's 30, I believe, and then of that 30 there's a subset on the type of blade that this guy has, the Bjorkman's twist. But anyway, that's another story. But just in your head, 30 of a sprint run. Okay, and when you start talking quantities like this, of let's just say 33 to split the 100 down the third, I think this is pretty darn cool for what this knife is. So I showed you a couple things. I'll do this as well. May as well. I'll take the Stellar that I always like to show. We'll grab that. There we go. We'll grab our Neon as well, just to kind of show a size comparison of the three knives. Always remember the angle of the dangle here on the camera, and that if I move this down to the bottom, suddenly things are going to look a little bit different. So there you have it. And this angle right here that I'm looking at the camera looks ridiculous. The Quantum looks massive, and it's not the case. Anyway, it's all good. Let's get into the box here. I have the original box that came with the knife, which is I think it's a 2022, so we're coming up on 2 years old, and I did want to show this. So Quantum NL, Chromax, particle metal, carbon fiber, MRBS, okay, multi-row bearing system. So that's cool. We'll open this guy up, and obviously I will take photos of this one, but this is what's cool about it. So it's got the 3 bears on it, which is a little rare for a Quantum at this kind of price point. The other thing, if we crank this guy open, we've got, which I believe is their export document. Which are all printed out on their website, but I just think it's a nice little touch to see the dimensions of the Quantum written in the home language, which is always cool, and then the Shirogorov stamp. I just think it's little things like this that are so cool that I just wish we would see more of. But the COA, and I guess on the back, we never see this part, but that's cool. Nice big Shirogorov logo. Looks cool. But the big thing is here, you've got the three barrels on the bottom, model year. There's no numbers though. So I wish that was published. I do have a picture of it, and maybe I'll try my best to time it so that I overlay it here. But there's 3 different colors of these. So hopefully you can see the 3 different colors. But I can't remember, blue, red, and maybe yellow. I can't recall. But different carbons. They all look different. Super cool. 3 bears typically stand for. I'm trying to remember here. I think it's multi-row bearings, a high-end blade steel, typically M390, and then the third is the internal milling on the handle. So we do have the multi-row bearings, which I obviously shown on the COA, Certificate of Authenticity, but let's see, is it on here as well? MRBS, see it right above the carbon there? That's cool. Now I haven't actually checked to see if that would be unbelievable if this is numbered, but I can't see it being that way now. Internally it is milled out, not skeletonized to the point where it's at a crazy level, but there is some milling inside, which is super cool at this kind of price point. Looks terrific. And then instead of M390, which is typically their high-end production steel, they're putting on Chromax, which is written on that blade right there. Which looks great. And it's the oversized Quantum pivot too, which is nice. This is like the Quantum Gen 2 pivot size. So typically, if I grab a Quantum Ursus, which I have over here, that's the pivot size you get. So a lot smaller than the other one. See what I'm saying? Price point difference between these are obviously different, but there's a lot more going on in this knife than meets the eye, which I think is what makes it so special. Dimensions I already talked about. Fit and finish in hand, or fit and feel, sorry, in hand. Standard jimping. Okay. that goes down the blade, nice and flat to the tip for fine work. No issues there. It's just your standard Shirogorov blade. Beautiful, no issues. We've got the bear on the blade here, and then the Chromax PM on the cutting path, which is pretty standard, I guess. Nothing too crazy there. You know, it would be nice if it was, you know, etched into the titanium somewhere, but you can't win them all. Get it off with the cutting path. It is a Persian style blade with a nice belly on it. This particular one is it's unused. You can just tell, and hopefully the camera can pick up on that, but not a blemish on that blade at all, which is awesome. This is exactly when you get a 2-year-old knife in that dreams are made of. The multi-row bearing action, smooth, fires out like an incredible, like it should. Silky, silky smooth, multi-row bearings. The centering, dead on, as it should. And if anything, I would say this thing is like incredibly close to these 3 Backspacer pins. Or Backspacer, I don't know what you'd call it, a Backspacer pin, like a standoff pin. The tolerances there are just nuts. And it's been a while since I've done a video on a production. I've been doing 4, 5, 6 videos in a few days of a lot of special editions and collab stuff, so I might be a little rusty on the terminology right now. But the Hannibal mask, as is customary known from David, is very close to that blade. And the reason that they put that there instead of a pin is so that you can get closer and closer. Even though some of them aren't really even coming with anything there anymore. If we look at an F95 NL, they forego the pins altogether. There's nothing there anymore. But it's a thicker handle, and you can't really get in there, strangely enough. So maybe they've figured something out that I don't know about, but a lot of them still come with these 3 pins. We have a standoff in place of a Backspacer, which is fine. No issues here at the price point. It's I can't remember what table was on these. $10.50 US. Does that sound about right? I'd have to look it up. But considering the production ones are $1,200 US for like a Gen 2, and you're getting the pivot, you're getting the milling, everything but the blade, and it's limited. That's if you want a knife that's like, hey, I want a production price point knife, but I want it to be something that if I pulled this out of my case at a Shirogorov meet, they would ask questions about this. They'd say, where did you get this? I've never seen one. Where did it come from? It's just that uncommon. You know, when I saw this, I was like, I had to research where this thing came from, and even then, there's such a little amount of information on it, which is just crazy. The inlays are done in carbon, and I haven't looked. They're not. Can you see through? Can't tell. I don't think you can. Sometimes when they do the inlays, you can actually see them on the inside of this. Like if I grab my F95 custom division here, on the inside of this, you can see the carbon fiber. Which I may as well grab a light and show that. Come on, man. Let's see. See what I'm talking about? Maybe I'll do this. Yeah, you can see the edge of the carbon fiber. So that's typically like on the higher end production pieces when they do an inlay. Sometimes you see, but in this one you don't, which is cool. Less to go wrong with it. The clip itself is very much akin to the rest of the Quantums in that it has a nice little track for that guy to sit in, and all the milling of the beautiful Russian machine work that they do is included. And I love looking under this clip here because it's just a thing of beauty. You get these lines, all this micro milling. Oh, the clip is like my favorite part of this, and how it all kind of ties things together. It's done so beautifully well. Ah, dare to dream. we've got a over travel stop and a lock bar insert, which is just done so well. Super smooth, light lockup, light engagement, just silky smooth. Hammers out like no tomorrow. Beautiful knife. The pocket clip itself, it transfers your hand, any weight from your hand, and it transfers it onto the frame versus the lock bar. So when you're holding this guy, you're adding any pressure to it, which is what I would say, like hold it over the clip. So you're not adding pressure to the lock bar. It's just a really smart way of, you can see how they angle this onto this side. It's just so intelligent. It's attached internally, I believe, with a screw. I don't know if we can see that on the inside here, but there's a little screw right there. That it's all internal, so that just one less line to look at. Now, one thing is, on these production pieces, you get a Torx bit here instead of the Shirogorov bits that are found on some of the other ones, like Dr. Death collab. See how they kind of went with a Shirogorov bit here instead. But if we look at some of the modern custom divisions, they're flipping that screw around and putting it inside. So there's your F95T custom division, and now it's inside. But if we grab an F95 or an F5 Silk Slim, it's still the standard Shirogorov bit, and it's external. So they're kind of changing things up a little bit every now and then, but for the most part, the production pieces, which I don't have any high-end. Oh, you know what? I've got Hattie. I've got a Hattie, CCKS Hattie. So there we go. Same thing. Torx. Super cool knife. I don't always have, when I have knives for the videos, I tend to use my own. I don't always have the knives that are on the site right within arm's reach. So when I'm showing my own collection, sometimes it's like, oh, I wish I had this knife, because I know that it has that, etc. And they're in a box on a shelf, so I can't just grab it super quick. But stunning detail on this. Titanium frame, obviously, and with a stone wash on it, which kind of hides a lot of the wear. Now, the hardware, as we know, I talk about this in a lot of the videos. The hardware is Shirogorov's, proprietary bit, but you could use a screwdriver in a pinch, or just use something softer than the material. So, like a penny would work well because of the nickel, or the copper, or just use like a credit card folded in half. That'll also do the trick. Or buy the tool and never have to worry about that problem. I love, though, on this Quantum how there's all the micromilling lines actually underneath the handle. Along the top here, I don't know how close this camera's going to allow me to get, but how good does that look? And then up here. These are the things, like, you get a Shirogorov, you play with it, you look at it, you flip it, and there's like details that just pop up on you that you're not even looking at or paying attention for. You're just like, oh my god, that's stunning. The Quantum series is known for this tab, the flipper tab, to be integrated with a line on the handle here, which is awesome. It's all rounded off, nothing sharp. But for rookies here, we were all rookies at one time. An F95, let's grab that blue one. Where did it go? You can kind of see how they, it's not built in here. It's a little bit of a setback. However, it's still above the pivot. And if we look, this is the key thing to look at for where it actually is in correlation to like the leverage you're going to get. Always just center the pivot and look up. This one's a little forward, I'd say, which means it's going to fire out. Whereas on this guy, it's like dead center and up. Whereas on the Dr. Death I showed earlier, it's further back from the pivot, which means it actually slows down your deployment. See what I'm saying? And if you think about this as the wheel, the cassette on a bicycle, the gear selection. The more forward it is in front, it's like a harder gear. It's going to shoot out. The further back you go, the leverage makes it like a bigger gear so that it slows down your deployment. So just keep that in mind. And it's always good to pay attention to that above the pivot and see kind of where things are at. But that's not the point of this. All I'm trying to say is the flipper tab on this is set back a little bit, whereas on the Quantum, it's a little bit forward, so it just fires like real easy. Real easy. Beautiful knife. In hand, fits nicely, jimping's beautiful. No issues there. No harsh edges at any point around this knife as well. It's, if you would have put this knife in my hand, let me hold it, feel the pivot size, I would think it's the highest end production piece. I wouldn't know it has a Chromax blade on it. I would say, yep, it's a 3 Bears, MRBS, full tie, any day of the week. But the fact that it's limited to 33 pieces, roughly, or 30-30-40, or 40-40-20, the fact that there's 100 pieces of an inlaid Quantum should make this an extremely highly desirable piece to get your hands on. Even if it's a production knife, there's going to be collectors looking for this because there's not many of them out there. There's less of these than custom divisions in a lot of cases. That's a very strange thing to say. Beautiful. Still have lots of fingers on the back here if you want to wear gloves. I wish it had a backspacer because it would just kind of close things off here and really cap it and make it look beautiful, in my opinion. But the fact that it's like Chromax, I don't know if I've ever seen a Chromax Quantum or F95 with a backspacer. I don't think they've done that. Typically when they use Chromax, they always put the standoff. And even that is like a polished material. So, it's kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting a stonewash. You're kind of getting two different versions of stonewash here. You're getting like a polished stonewash up top, like a satin color, and then you're getting like more of an actual tumble on the bottom here. And I don't know if the light's going to pick that up, but there's two different tones on this knife. Maybe that side will show it better, because this one's it's all flat down here and then kind of polished around the inlay, which is just so cool. You don't see that ever. And as I roll this knife, oh, the carbon's changing. It's just a work of art, man. The other thing I love about these, the lock bar, see how it pops up a little bit as I roll this guy? And that nice bevel is shown. Just makes it easy to lock and unlock. It's just so, it's so perfect. I did talk about this, but the lock bar insert is a steel, so that you can kind of tune between the titanium and the Chromax, as well as being replaceable. It obviously allows you to customize that feel and that action. Just keep that in mind. It's not just an over-travel stop, although it does have one. But looking inside, yeah, it's like a half skeletonized, half production. It's a bit of both. It's pretty cool. But to me, it's the polish on the sides, on the flats, it's like a stonewash polish with a flat stonewash. Just so cool. As far as the blade go, I don't know if it's any different than a production. Let's grab that other monkey edge. I don't think it's any different. Let's take a look. You guys see anything different in the layout of that blade? I don't. Obviously the bear's missing, but generally speaking, I think they are the same in the ergonomics side of things. I think they're identical, which is good. It's a really good thing. Oh, man, that action on that's just nuts. It feels like a single roll bearing knife. And I'm glad the blade's away now so that I don't cut myself, because let's be honest, I'm not exactly the most coordinated individual. I'm trying to think the last time I saw a Quantum with an inlay on it. They're not, there's not many. Not many done this well on a production knife, that's for sure. So I will take some detailed photographs of this knife, and this one, I don't know when, but I don't know if it'll accompany the video or not, but this one will be going in the store, and it's one of very few knives that I've actually brought in for the store, because sometimes these knives pop up, and it's just about getting your hands on them and thinking later. But it'd be awesome to accompany it with a video like this, so that the potential buyer can, really get to know it before they consider it. And if they don't want to consider it, no sweat. Like, it's all good. This video is more about showing this knife to the world and to the 100 of you that'll watch this. Then, and I guess, you know what, the Eagle Expo is not very well known. Like, it's a knife that doesn't have a whole lot on it online. Trust me, I've looked it up. So, hopefully that helps. But beautiful knife, super rare, and I think you're going to have a real cool, unique piece if you consider one of these, because I have it in my hand. It's beautifully done, action superb. I don't know if it's built any different than a standard production knife, but it feels like it's had some extra love, because it's just so smooth and it fires out, and that's the quantum flipping action on it. So beautiful. Alright guys, well, appreciate you stopping by, taking a look at another gorgeous Shirogorov. I appreciate you. Check out the website, bladezilla.ca, for a lot of this content. And add me on Instagram, add me on TikTok, add me wherever. If you want to just chat knives and carry on a conversation, I'm more than willing to do that as well, because, it's my hobby. So, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys so much. Alright. Have a good night or morning or whatever you guys are doing, and we will catch you around the bend next time. Peace, guys.